Alrighty, good afternoon. If you see that go off, let me know. Chapter 4 focuses specifically on pronoun usage, but before I go any further, were there any questions about anything that we covered in Chapter 3 about the possessive, singular possession, and plural possession? Do want to summarize one concept out of that particular chapter, and hopefully this clarifies a little bit. Okay, if you just want to make a noun, a common noun, or a plural noun possessive, all you have to do is either add s or es to it to make it plural. As far as plurality is concerned, if a common noun or a proper noun ends with s, x, z, ch, or sh, then add es to make it plural. Most other times, you just go ahead and add s to it. If it's an O-ending word, look at the O-ending word, and if it's preceded by a consonant or by a vowel, that will make a determination as to whether it will be singular, or excuse me, whether it will be S or ES to make it plural. If it's a musical term, just add S to the O-ending word to make it plural. If it's a Y-ending word, change, if it's like company, C-O-M-P-A-N, so it's preceded by a consonant, change the Y to I and add ES to make it plural. And don't put any apostrophes in it because you're just going from singular to plural, and that's it. Okay, here you have door to make it plural, just add S to it to make doors, desk to desks, box, it ends with S-X-Z, C-H or S-H, so add ES to it to make it plural. Church, it ends with S-X-Z, C-H or S-H, so add ES to it to make it plural. Curio is a O-ending word that's preceded by a vowel, so we just add S to it to make it plural. There are some exceptions to those rules, by the way. Use a good dictionary like Merriam-Webster and look at the preferred choice of plurality to determine if you add S or ES. Hero is preceded by a consonant, so we add ES to it to make it plural. There's company, a Y-ending word that's preceded by a consonant, so change the Y to I, add ES. And then attorney is a Y-ending word with a vowel preceding the Y, so just add S to it to make it plural. So if there's no possession, to go from singular to plural, there should be no apostrophes in them whatsoever. Okay, then singular possessive, this is apostrophe S. Singular possession, you look at the word, and is it one thing, one person, showing singular possessiveness over one item. So you have Mr. J's house. To make it plural, just add apostrophe S to it. If you have Mr. Hendricks's house, just add apostrophe S to it to make it plural. If it's one company's policy, then just add apostrophe S to make it plural. If it's only my attorney's office, just add apostrophe S to it to make it plural possessive. This is, excuse me, I said plural the whole time through, didn't I? To show singular possession. That's all singular possession. Now, if you want to make it plural possessive, the J's home, then add S apostrophe. The Hendricks's house, it ends with S-X-Z, C-H or S-H. To make it plural first, add ES to it. Then we add the mark the apostrophe for S apostrophe. Their home, many companies' policies. So Y-ending words, and it's preceded by a consonant. So change the Y to I and add ES and then the apostrophe. So many companies' S apostrophe policies, or many attorneys' office. So Y-ending word that's preceded by a vowel. So just add S to it and then apostrophe. Many attorneys' offices, S apostrophe on that one. So here's the singular possessive, apostrophe S. Here's the plural possession, S apostrophe. That's the general rule. Where that does not apply is if you have irregular nouns. For example, going from child to children, I have one child or I have many children. No possession there. But now if I have my child's room, then you would go child apostrophe S. Or both of our children's rooms. Now it's plural possessive, and we would add S apostrophe, but because it's an irregular noun, we still go ahead and use apostrophe S for an irregular noun. So children, C-H-I-L-D-R-E-N, apostrophe S, and then rooms, R-O-O-M-S. Okay, so that's just a summary from the previous chapter. Now let's go ahead and take a look at chapter 4. And we'll conclude with chapter 4 and then spend a couple of days walking through the review and some of the end of the chapter exercises at the end of chapters 3 and chapter 4. Okay, now chapter 4, pronouns. And something fun that I want to show you really quickly here. Have you heard the television program called This Is Us? Do you watch that television program? You like it? Pretty good. It's not grammatically correct though. Now, one thing that makes it grammatically correct is it's a title. Titles can violate the rules. So that's what makes it correct. It should not read This Is Us. It should read This Is We. Because it follows a linking verb, and that makes it a subject complement. So subject complements should be a subjective case pronoun, which is I, we, you, he, she, it, they. So technically it's not correct, but a company can name a title, a publisher can name a book, anything they want. They can misspell the words, they can put the apostrophes anywhere they choose to do so. So just for fun, I thought I'd throw that out there to corrupt a wonderful show like This Is Us. Imagining it to be This Is We. Could be This Is They. And we'll look at some more of those a little bit later. The pretest at the beginning of the chapter gives us a little bit of an overview. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Oh, drop it. You can see all that on there now? Okay.
You want to see the 1 through 10?
1 through 10, yeah. Okay, I'm going to grab a red marker really quickly. Evelyn and I. That myself is a reflective pronoun, and generally should not be used unless you are trying to make it reflective. If I said, I myself agree with that procedure, then, and you're repeating yourself, then it's probably a little bit more okay. But if you can avoid it, say, I agree with the procedure and get rid of the reflective pronouns altogether if you can. But I'm going to use the word I. The pronoun is necessary I because it's being used as a subject of a sentence. So if a pronoun is being used as a subject of a sentence, use a subjective case pronoun, which is I, we, you, he, she, it, they. And then presented is the verb. Okay, number 2. Submit your expense claims to Albert or she or Albert or her by March 31st. Since this is part of a prepositional phrase, and then pronouns inside of a prepositional phrase are objects of a preposition, use an objective case pronoun, which is me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Okay, then number 3. Us employees or we employees will vote. So employees is your subject, will vote is your verb. So we have a subject, and then we have a noun that's referring to that particular subject. Since this is a subject, the word employees, I want to use a subjective case pronoun to refer to it. I, we, you, he, she, it, they. We employees will vote whether to approve the contract. Number 4, no one in the office worked harder on the project than her did or she did. Now, anytime that you have a than or an as that precedes a pronoun and a following verb is implied, if that following verb is implied, use a subjective case pronoun. I, we, you, he, she, it, they. Now, if a following verb is not implied after the word than or as, then use an objective case pronoun, which is me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Okay, this next one, are you sure it was he or him who called me this morning? Okay, right here, as far as the pronoun is concerned, it is a pronoun that's being used as the subject. Was is a linking verb, so any noun or pronoun that follows a linking verb is called a subject complement. So we're going to use a subjective case pronoun, which is I, we, you, he, she, it, they. And then a patient must show his, their, or his or her proof of insurance upon arrival. Since the patient, a patient, is referring to both genders, or all genders, then we don't want to use a plural pronoun to refer to a patient. His is possibly a good example. If it's all male, then it's probably not. So to be gender neutral, then use both singular pronouns to refer to it, which is his and or her. So this one's going to be the correct answer, his or her. The office manager, along with her staff, submitted her or their timesheet. Okay, this is going to be a fun one. Manager is your subject. Manager, submitted is your verb. Okay, sorry for the squiggly marks here. But the words along with her staff, disregard. If it says together with, along with, or a group of other words that are parenthetically inserted, that's offset by commas, don't even consider what it says in that particular parenthetical expression, okay? Look back at the subject. The subject is singular. And so we're going to use a singular verb, or excuse me, a singular pronoun to refer to the manager. And that's going to be the word her. Office manager submitted her timesheet. Or his timesheet, depending on the case. In this one, we know that it's talking about the feminine gender. Number 8, the committee submitted its or their recommendation to the board. Committee is a collective noun. Submitted is a verb. And there is the direct object, which is not relevant at this particular point. But committee submitted its or their recommendation. Since the committee acted collectively or as a whole, we are going to refer to the word committee as a singular noun. So we need a singular pronoun to refer to it, which is its. The committee submitted its recommendation.
So if it was committees,
the committees submitted their recommendations. That would be correct. Also, now this is kind of tricky right here, but if the committee argued amongst themselves, you could say the committee argued amongst themselves. Them, referring back to the committee, would be plural. So if it shows that they're not collective, then plurality can refer to that committee. But if they're acting as a whole, as one collective unit, then they become singular. Alrighty, that's going to bring us down to numbers 9 and 10. Let me pull that up just a little bit. Mr. Mark. Okay, this is going to be kind of fun. Who is equal to he? Whom is equal to him? This is a little shortcut. What we're going to do, the little trick is to cross out everything up to and including the who and whom. Well, it starts with who and whom. So we're going to cross out everything up to and including the who and whom. And then you're going to insert the words he or him wherever it fits, or whichever fits. Did you hire him? We can't say, did you hire he? Did you hire him? Him is equal to whom? So whom did you hire to process our weekly payroll? We'll look more at that. That's kind of a fun shortcut that works probably more times than not. And then did you know whose briefcase this is? This is a contraction for who is. So it reads, do you know who is briefcase this is? So whose is a possessive pronoun possessing briefcase, so we'll use whose. All right, there's your pretest. That's what we're covering in this chapter. Now let's look at each of those elements individually. Okay, here are our personal pronouns. And it shows first, second, and third person. And as you're looking at this, you're going to go, you know what? Most people don't really know the difference between a first, second, and third pronoun. They'll say, I want this in third person. And then they talk about you. Well, notice you is not in third person. it's in second person. So they misuse that more times than not. I recommend that you memorize these pronouns. There's not a lot of them. Easy to do. Just kind of maybe put a song to it or something like that. I, we, you, he, she, it, they. Then me, us, you, him, her, it, them. I, we, you, he, she, it, they. Me, us, you, him, her, it, them. It's really easy to memorize. And find a favorite song. Go to Rihanna, to whoever. And find a song that you can memorize these to. There was the ABCs right there. But memorize your personal pronouns and start with your subjective case first. I, we, you, he, she, it, they. Then your objective. Me, us, you, him, her, it, them. And I'm not going to sing very often. Notice I, my person, or we, and me and us are all first person. That's a person speaking. Second person is you across the board. Is it still on? Okay. And then he, she, it, they, and him, her, it, them are all the third person, the person, the thing being spoken of. But definitely build a good relationship with your understanding of those particular pronouns. And some authorities prefer the term nominative. I prefer the word subjective because of the rules that are going to apply to when we use a subjective case pronoun. That will help us remember it much more easily. But nominative and subjective are the same. Okay. For a subjective case pronoun, I'm going to kind of scroll right over here to the other side of the board. Do not move. Okay. Subjective case pronouns. That's when the pronoun is being used as the subject of the verb. The subject uses a subjective case pronoun. I, we, you, he, she, it, they. One of those pronouns. Pronoun in the subject is a subject complement, meaning that it follows a linking verb. So if you have a noun and then a linking verb, am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been, feel, appear, smell, taste, hears, and it's a linking verb, and the word that connects the subject to that next word is called a subject complement. If it's a subject complement, that subject complement must be in the subjective case. I, we, you, he, she, it, they. And then finally, if the pronoun appears after the words than or as and a following verb is implied, use a subjective case pronoun, I, we, you, he, she, it, they. Okay, then the objective case pronouns. Me, us, you, him, her, it, them. That's when the pronoun is located within a prepositional phrase and likely acts as the object of the preposition, which is me, us, you, him, her, it, them. If the pronoun follows an action verb, not a linking verb, but an action verb, It's either going to be a direct object or an indirect object. If it's a direct or indirect object, use an objective case pronoun, me, us, you, him, her, it, them. If the pronoun appears after the words than or as and a following verb is not implied, use an objective case pronoun, me, us, you, him, her, it, them. So hopefully you'll find some use in these rules right here that will be paramount in your development of developing better grammar skills. Let's kind of go back over that really quickly one more time. And here we are using they are traveling to Oklahoma City for their daughter's wedding. So the pronoun is being used as a subject of the verb. Therefore, it must be a subjective case pronoun, I, we, you, he, she, it, they. He wonders, since he is being used as a pronoun being used as a subject of the verb wonders, use a subjective case pronoun of I, we, you, he, she, it, they. Let's see. That's all that they gave right there. Okay, objective case pronoun. You please ask her when our order will be delivered. So the word in question is the word her. Did they use it correctly? Since you is the understood subject, please ask what or who. Please ask her. Since her is a direct object that completes the action of the verb ask, use an objective case pronoun, me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Okay, you can meet what or who. There's action verb. So the noun or pronoun that follows the action verb is a direct object. Use an objective case pronoun. Me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Can you meet them at the airport? The attorney sent them follows an action verb, so an objective case pronoun must be used. Supervisor issued her. Action verb. And there's a direct object, so we must use an objective case pronoun, me, us, you, him, her, it, them. If it's a pronoun in a prepositional phrase, for us, then it must be an objective case pronoun because it's functioning as an object of the preposition for, of her. And then every employee, except, by the way, is sometimes a preposition, especially whenever it links itself to a noun or a pronoun. So except what or who, since it's in a prepositional phrase, use an objective case pronoun, me, us, you, him, her, it, them. It goes on to say here, when the words except, between, but, and like are used as prepositions, errors in the pronoun case are likely to occur. To avoid such errors, isolate the prepositional phrase and then use an objective case pronoun as the object of the preposition. Every employee but Weston and her. See, the word but is not a coordinating conjunction right there. The word but would join maybe a couple of nouns, possibly, but in this case it links it to an object, so use an objective case pronoun. Me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the next page. Is the possessive case. Possessive case pronouns never have apostrophes, ever. But they can act as contractions. So our possessive case pronouns are hers. The purse this document is hers. It's possessive. Yours, ours, theirs, and its. They never have apostrophes. But we do have contractions sometimes. Contraction usually combines a pronoun and a verb or a subject and a verb to make it come together as one word. We do that quite frequently, and in business writing, some people say this isn't appropriate, but it's perfectly fine for you to do so. So here we have some examples of theirs for there is, or there for they are, and your for you are. Hers was the best presentation, but it was never her apostrophe S. That vacation home is ours, but it's never our apostrophe S. Leave the apostrophes out of possessive case pronouns. Okay, whenever we have compound subjects and objects, when you have a compound subject, that means you have more than one that's joined by the words and or or. If a compound subject is joined by the word and, one of the things that you can do to determine if it should be subjective or objective case pronoun, but remember our original rule, if the pronoun is part of the subject, there's two subjects right there, began is a verb. So if the pronoun's being used as a subject, use a subjective case pronoun, I, we, you, he, she, it, they. Not an objective case pronoun. But if you can't remember the rule, if you have a compound subject with a pronoun that's joined by the word and, get rid of the actual subject itself, and then use the pronoun by itself. And look at the word her. Her began the management training. You wouldn't say her began the management training. So another pronoun that would work better would be she. She began the management training. So you can work with compound subjects that way by getting rid of the actual subject and the word and just using the pronoun and determining which pronoun sounds best. So that's kind of a shortcut method that you could use if you can't remember the rule. Here's another one. You and I, since those are both subjects of the verb must make, we know you use a subjective case pronoun, I, we, you, he, she, it, they. But get rid of the pronoun and, or I guess the principal pronoun and the word and then try to determine, is it going to be I or me? So me must make. No, it's not me must make. I must make. Morgan asked you and me. So get rid of the principal noun and the word and. Morgan asked I for advice. No, Morgan asked me for advice. So that kind of helps out a little bit. Here's Rashad. Get rid of the principal noun and the word and then the other pronoun. Would you like they to help you or would you like them to help you? That's kind of a good little thing when you have compound subjects, right, that include a pronoun. Okay. Exactly. Here's some comparatives. In statements of comparison, words are often implied but not actually stated. This is that than or as statement. Comparatives are often introduced by words such as than or as. To determine the pronoun case in partially complete comparative statements introduced by than or as, always mentally finish the comparative by adding the implied missing words. So Shireen enjoys foreign films as much as he does. So you have the word as, than or as right there, and then whenever a following verb is implied, it's not that one right there, but when a following verb is implied, that means that that particular pronoun is the subject of that implied verb. So therefore we're going to use a subjective case pronoun. So as much as he does. Nader Sharks is a better cook than they are. Use a subjective case pronoun if a following verb is implied. Tardiness annoys Judy Foster as much as it does me, or as much as it annoys me. See, a following verb isn't implied right there. When you fill in the missing words, it's not a following verb that's implied. It creates a new clause at that particular point. So don't use a subjective case pronoun there. Use an objective case pronoun, me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Tardiness annoys Judy Foster as much as I do, me do, none of that works, but the implied words is not a verb. Tardiness annoys Judy Foster as much as it does me. It creates another clause, doesn't it? And because it starts another clause, then we need to use an objective case pronoun. So the key component on these, if you have than or as before a pronoun and a following verb is implied immediately, use a subjective case pronoun. But if you have than or as that precedes a clause and not a following verb that's implied, then use an objective case pronoun, me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Appositives are words or group of words that explain or rename previously mentioned nouns or pronouns. When a pronoun has an appositive, a word that it refers to, it takes the same case as the appositive that follows it. To determine more easily what pronoun case to use for a pronoun in combination with an appositive, temporarily ignore the appositives. Or don't ignore it. Teachers is your subject, are devoted is your verb. Since teachers is the subject, then the pronoun that refers to it should be in the subjective case as well. I, we, you, he, she, it, they. But it does say just go ahead and ignore it. And to determine more easily, in combination with the positive, temporarily ignore the appositive and look to determine what the subject is and then make it match, make the appositive match the actual subject. Action must be taken by us employees. Well, this is the object of a preposition. Since this is the object of a preposition, then the pronoun referring to its appositive must be in the objective case, me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Avoid reflexive pronouns unless it feels natural to do so. Reflexive pronouns end with self or selves, like myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, and themselves. Notice that there's no such word as his self, themself, and their selves. Okay? I prepared the gourmet meal myself. There it sounds natural instead of saying I prepared the gourmet meal my or me. It's okay to be reflexive right there. It refers back to the pronoun I. The president himself greeted each voter, but I think that probably can be left out and say the president greeted each voter. It's kind of redundant, really. But it does refer to the president right there. Avoid the use of it. Don't say send your ideas to either Jacob or myself. Since that's part of a prepositional phrase, an objective case pronoun must be used, me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Helen, Benjamin, and I, both of those are subjects, by the way, so we use a subjective case pronoun. Analyze the research results. Instead of Helen, Benjamin, and myself, use a subjective case pronoun since it's really not reflective. Avoid reflective pronouns if you can and replace them with the actual pronouns. Earlier, that worked a little bit better for I prepared the gourmet meal myself. I'm proud of what I did. Subject complements. Anytime you have a linking verb, is, am, oh, that's not the one that was talking about, was, and then were. So is, was, and were. The noun or pronoun that follows would be the subject complement. So use a subjective case pronoun, I, we, you, he, she, it, they. It is she. I'm sure it was he. If you were, I. Okay, any questions so far?
If you were I, not me.
If you were I. If it follows the linking verb.
That's not what I say.
Yeah,
I know.
Like, what?
If it follows a linking verb, the pronoun that follows the linking verb is linked back to the subject, so it's a subject complement, and that's why a subjective case pronoun must be used of I, we, you, he, she, it, they. I know, we don't usually talk that way. That's why I believe this chapter is probably more cumbersome than most. Okay, level 2, pronouns and antecedent agreement. Pronouns that substitute for nouns must agree with their antecedents, the nouns to which they refer, in number. like for example, singular or plural, and also in gender, masculine, feminine, or neuter. Okay, so this one's unclear. When Annette Jenkins followed Don O'Malley as president, many of her policies were reversed. Whose policies? Was it Don's or was it Annette's? We don't really know for sure. So we need to clarify that. Say when Annette Jenkins followed Don O'Malley as president, many of O'Malley's policies were reversed. So always make sure that your pronouns have a clear reference to the word or group of words that it follows. Now, if this had been male and female, masculine and feminine, that would have become a little bit more difficult. So we have to know whose policies are we talking about. That's why it's so critical. In the city of Walnut Creek, they do not allow you to smoke in multi-unit residence. Who's they? It's unclear. So it's an indefinite pronoun reference. Be specific with who they are. The city council, the Walnut Creek City Council does not allow residents to smoke in multi-unit residences, or smoking is not allowed in multi-unit residences. So make sure that your pronouns are always clear, that they go specifically to the word or group of words in which they're referring, their antecedent, and they must also agree in number. Warren Buffett knew from a young age that he, singular he, referring to Warren Buffett, would be an investor, and it also matches gender as well. We wouldn't use she. Great investors. Okay, I don't know if the investors are male or female, so therefore I want to use a gender-neutral type of pronoun to refer to more than one investor. Since investors is plural, great investors often recognize there's a plural pronoun that can include both genders, or all genders. Okay, the managers and union representatives discussed their differences. So the pronoun there refer to their antecedents. The word or group of words to which a pronoun refers is its antecedent. Managers, male and female. Union representatives, male and female. So I'm going to use a plural pronoun to refer to both of these groups. Max, male. Sarah, female. Whenever you have a compound subject that includes both genders, need new passwords issued to them, use a plural pronoun to refer to both genders. Because it's two, more than one, so it has to be plural. Okay, then whenever you have compound subjects that are complicated with words parenthetically inserted that begin with as well as, in addition to, together with, and along with, completely disregard it. Don't pay attention to together with his cabinet members, which suggests plurality. Look at the word president. President is singular, so we need a singular pronoun to refer to it. Now, I don't know if the president is male or female, so it does right here in the parenthetical statement say his cabinet member. So I'm going to use a single pronoun, his. The president is sending his personal thanks. So that helps me out. But if it said together with the cabinet members, and I don't know whether the president is male or female, I would say the president, together with other cabinet members, is sending his or her personal thanks. Keep it singular to refer to its antecedent, which is singular. Okay, the cabinet members. Members is plural. Don't pay attention, along with the president, are sending their. So it uses a plural verb to go along with members and a plural pronoun to refer to the members that includes both genders, the word their. A female member of the group of protesting employees demanded that she be treated equally. Don't pay any attention to prepositional phrases either. Get rid of the prepositional phrases, and we know that it's feminine and it's singular, so we need a singular pronoun, she or her, and a female member of the group of protesting employees demanded that she, and I'm going to use a subjective case pronoun because this pronoun is used as the subject of the verbs be treated. So a subjective case pronoun must be used, but this pronoun refers back to the member, which is she. Okay? Elon Musk discussed his latest creative endeavor. So agree in gender. Kathy prepared her trip, and the suggestion has it's neuter gender, neither masculine nor feminine. Okay, with gender biases, we want to be as specific as we can. A passenger must show his passport before boarding. Notice how gender specific this one is, because surely passengers include both male and female, right? So this one's absolutely incorrect. We would not use it at all in today's business communication. So we can say passengers must show their, that's a plural pronoun to refer to the plural noun, passengers. Another alternative is a passenger must show a passport before boarding and not use any pronoun to refer to it. A passenger must show his or her. So his or her are singular pronouns referring to the singular antecedent passenger. Or a passenger must show their passport before boarding. That's completely wrong as well, because the plural pronoun there cannot refer to its antecedent that's singular. Plural referring to singular? No. And it does say wrong out to the side.
What if you had all passengers?
All passengers must show their passports. That would be correct. All passengers must show their passports. Plurality, to refer to the plurality of the passengers. All passengers. So that's another option, alternative as well. It's a good one. Antecedents joined by or nor. If that be the case, look at the last one. Pay attention to the last one with or and nor. Remember, pronouns should agree with the closer antecedent. The closer antecedent will be the one that comes after or after the word nor. You may be wondering why antecedents joined by and are treated differently from antecedents joined by or nor. The conjunction and creates plurality, and it has 1 plus 1 to make 2 antecedents. Therefore, you must use the plurality, the plural pronoun. The conjunctions or nor require a choice, one or the other. Always match the pronoun to the closer antecedent. So either Hillary or Janet, so Janet's the one we're going to refer to, parked her car. Singular pronoun referring to the one that's closest, which is Janet, and we use a feminine pronoun because Janet is female. Neither the employees nor Supervisor Ken Riley, we're going to refer to the one closest, expects to see his. Ken is masculine, so we're going to use a masculine pronoun to refer to singular Ken. His salary increase this year. It's one or the other, even though employees could be male and female. We're going to refer to the one closest to the pronoun referring to it. Neither Supervisor Ken Riley nor the employees. Now, employees could be masculine or feminine, and since that's plural, I'm going to employ a plural pronoun to see their salaries increase this year. Or nor suggest one or the other. Use the one that's closer to the pronoun in question. Okay, this next page, indefinite pronouns. Anyone, neither, anybody. These are always singular if they're used by themselves. They're always singular. Anybody, neither. Let me go down this line. Anybody, anyone, anything, each, either, everybody, everyone, everything, neither, nobody, no one, nothing, somebody, someone, and something. Only no one is 2 words all the time. And the ones that are always plural, this one's easy to remember. Both, few, many, and several. Those are clearly plural pronouns. The issue, when the indefinite pronoun functions as an antecedent of a pronoun, make certain that the pronoun agrees with its antecedent. Do not let a prepositional phrase obscure the true antecedent. So somebody on the women's debate team left her notes. At least it gives us an idea who the somebody is, with the feminine right there in the prepositional phrase. So left her. So this is a singular pronoun referring to a singular indefinite pronoun, somebody. Everyone in the men's choir. Well, there's plurality right there, but everyone is one word. It's considered to be singular. It's an indefinite pronoun that's considered to be singular. So we're going to use his or her, or in this particular case, since it's the men's choirs, it's going to be his. Everyone in the men's choir made his singular pronoun referring to the singular indefinite pronoun everybody. Same thing with each. Each of the corporations, each maintained its. It's a neuter gender here. Few of our employees. Remember the word few. It's in that right column, and it's always plural. So I'm not going to pay attention to this. So that's a plural. We need a plural pronoun to refer to it. Several of our branches list their job openings on the company's intranet.
I think you skipped.
Men's choir, women's debate,
You said
corporation.
few, and then you went to the next one.
Oh, did I really?
Yeah.
It works in both cases, few and
Yeah.
several.
Yeah.
So few and several are both plural, and so plural
Yeah.
pronouns have to refer to the plural indefinite pronoun, few and several. It worked well.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
I did do that, but and the words either and neither, those words can be confusing. When these words stand alone and function as sentence subjects, they're always, 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 not sometimes, but always considered singular. When they're joined with or nor to form conjunctions, however, they may connect to plural subjects. These plural subjects then may act as antecedents to plural pronouns. So in this case right here, either is willing to share her, referring to the women's right here, expertise. It's a singular pronoun and functions as a subject of sentence. It controls the singular verb is, and it's also the antecedent of the plural of the pronoun her. Now, here's a or nor. Neither the man nor his children. Okay, so remember with the either or, neither nor, pay more attention to the one closer to the pronoun referring to it. So nor the children. Man is singular, children is plural, so I'm going to use a plural pronoun to refer to the closest one, children. Collective nouns, such as jury, faculty, committee, staff, union, team, flock, and group. Those are considered to be singular when they're acting as a collective group. But if they're arguing amongst themselves, or there's disruption where they're acting independently of one another, then you may use plurality. Let's look at an example of that on the next page. Our union held its election for new officers. So union is a group of people acting as one group. It held its election as a unified or collective noun. Since it's collective, as one group that did this, then we're going to use a singular pronoun to refer to it, and it's in the neuter gender, which is its. Our union held its election for the new officers. Then the jury rendered its verdict. The singular pronoun is referring to the collective singular noun, jury. And then the jury were divided in their opinions. Now they're not acting as a collective group. So since they're acting up, the jury has 12 people in the jury, and they did not agree, and now the jury were divided in there. That's where the word, a plural pronoun would be used if they're not acting as a collective group. Then you'd use a plural pronoun. Company names, book titles, movie names, even though they look like they're plural, should always be singular. Okay, so Electronic Arts is proud of its fun, creative work environment. That's the name of a company. So even though it has more than one art, multiple arts, it's a company, and so it's considered to be collective, so a singular verb is used and a singular pronoun refers to it. The United Nations, one singular group, in addition to other organizations. Remember, that's an in addition, so don't even look at that one. United Nations is a singular group, is, use a singular verb and a singular pronoun to refer to it, its. Here's multiple people in the name of a law firm. Downey, Felker, and Taurus Incorporated plans to move its corporate headquarters. The band Counting Crows got its start. Even though there's more than one crow, it's one band. So a singular pronoun refers to it. San Francisco Giants, one team. So we're going to use a singular pronoun to refer to it. And you may have heard of the Flaming Lips, more than one lip. And a singular pronoun refers to it. Now, if you have each and every should never go together. Each and every one of you, we should never blend together because it's redundant. I should say each of you is, or every one of you is. Then, but never each and every together as one unit of words. When the adjective each or every precedes a compound subject joined by and, the compound subject is considered singular. Because it's like every supervisor and every subordinate. So supervisor and subordinate are both being considered singular. Should bring his or her. Since we don't, since it could be male or female, and these are considered to be singular because of each and every preceding the and compounded subjects, we're going to use singular pronouns to refer to the each and every, okay? You can think every single supervisor and every single subordinate should bring his or her ideas to the meeting. How about this one? Each female player and each coach is expected. See, I added the word each there even though it's not included. And so you have the word each before the noun player and coach. And I'm going to refer to is expected to purchase her since this is female. Every father and every son, every single father and every single son receive his. Since father and son is masculine, use a singular pronoun to refer to father and son. Generally, when we have, if we said fathers and sons receive their, but the word every and each preceding the word changes it to singularity. Received his invitation separately. Okay, then finally, who and whom. Okay, I mentioned earlier that we're going to, he is equal to who, him is equal to whom. The rule is cross out everything up to and including the who and whom. Right there. Do you think he will win the next presidential election? Therefore, who do you think will win the next presidential election? Okay, cross out everything up to and including the who and whom. My boss is he. I'm sorry, he is my boss. I rephrased it right there. That fits better. He is my boss. He is equal to Who. Allison asked me who my boss is. Okay, who, cross out everything up to and including who and whom. Should we hire him? Him is equal to whom, so whom should we hire for the marketing position? Okay, cross out everything up to and including the who and whom. I spoke to him. Him is equal to whom. Edmund is the one to whom I spoke. That's a really good way to kind of fill in the blanks and to simplify the whom and who issue. And then it goes on to say that right down here in this next section. Same thing applies to whoever and whomever. Whoever is equal to he. Whomever is equal to him. Cross out everything up to and including the who and whom. He requests one. He is equal to who. Therefore, send a discount code to whoever he requests one. He meets the criteria. Whoever. They nominate him. Him is equal to whom, so whomever they nominate. Whose is just a possessive pronoun, and it'd be like, whose house is this? Never who is, who apostrophe s, never who is house is this. So we're not going to make a contraction of it. But whose is a possessive case pronoun. Whose house is this? Next page, the summary. Use the subjective case when the pronoun is the subject of the verb and whenever the pronoun is a subject complement, meaning it follows a linking verb. Use the object, and also whenever you have the word than or as and a pronoun follows with the following verb that's implied, use a subjective case pronoun. Objective case pronoun, whenever the pronoun is a direct object or an indirect object of the verb. On this one, you give chance to him. So chance is a direct object and him is an indirect object. If it's an indirect object or direct object, use an objective case pronoun. Me, us, you, him, her, it, them. If there's a pronoun in a prepositional phrase, use an objective case pronoun. Me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Oh, and I didn't mention, oh yeah, I did too. If it's an object of an infinitive, then make sure that you use an objective case pronoun. And hoped to call what or who. Since it's the object of an infinitive, use an objective case pronoun. Me, us, you, him, her, it, them. So there's your subjective case. I, we, you, he, she, it, they. There's your objective case. Me, us, you, him, her, it, them. Possessive case. My, mine, our, ours, your, yours, their, theirs, his, hers, its, and theirs. Reflexive pronouns. Add the self or the selves to the end, but there's no such word as his self. Or themself. Indefinite pronouns, most of them are considered to be singular with the exception of the word few, several, both, and a few others. There's not very many of them there. Relative pronouns, who, whose, whom, which, that, whoever, and whomever, and whichever, and whatever. Those are considered to be relative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are who, whose, whom, which, and what, because they ask questions usually. Demonstrative pronouns, this, that, these, and those. And reciprocal pronouns such as each other and one another show a mutual relationship. That brings us to the FAQs, and we can go through those relatively quickly. Is it a breach of contract, B-R-E-A-C-H, or a breach, B-R-E-E-C-H? This will help you remember it. If it's a legal term, it's B-R-E-A-C-H. C-H, and that A will remind you of an attorney that's needed. If you're having a breech birth, it's B-R-E-E-C-H. No legal reference there. Okay, the next one. I often catch myself using the response me too when I agree or to have taken part in something. Oh, I did this. Oh, me too. That's incorrect. It's I too.
Okay.
Yeah, that got your attention. Look at this. Although you will hear the response commonly used, grammatically it is incorrect. When you respond with these words, you're really saying, me love that new sushi restaurant too. So I love that new sushi. So better to say, rather than say I too, or you can, if that sounds too formal for you, you can say so do I, or I do too, rather than me too, which is incorrect.
So the Me Too movement, it's supposed to be...
I too. Exactly. I too movement. Should a hyphen be used in the words dissimilar, non-responsive, pre-existing? By the way, they used to have hyphens because they're becoming more common. They're trying to remove the hyphenation from a lot of the words. And so I kind of created a little acronym, if you will, to kind of identify words that should no longer be hyphenated unless it be misconstrued if it said otherwise. So predissonant. Predissonant is my new word. So pre, re, dis, un, and non. None of those words should be hyphenated any longer. Predissonant.
What does that mean?
And I made it up. That's my little acronym there. Predissonant. Unless, the exception is whenever prefix non is followed by a proper noun, like non-American, non-Catholic, then you'll hyphenate it, especially if it's capitalized, to offset it. I thought I knew the difference between to and to, but could you provide me with a quick review? Okay, the word to, I'm going to go to what? The store. So it's a preposition, to. To complete this work on time, you should da-da-da. So if it's used as an infinitive, use the word to. If you said,
Me too.
I too. I too hope to join the Corps of Engineers. Then I as well. Or if it means also or perhaps, then it's TOO, and it usually functions as an adverb. How long is it? Too long. This letter is too long, TOO. When it functions as an adverb, it should be TOO. When it functions as a preposition or a infinitive, then it's TO. Okay, the word apart. We look forward to having you as a part of our celebration. We say that as if it's one word, but it's really not. We hope to have you as a part, 2 words, or as a portion of our group. Then, is the word backup written as one word or two, or should I hyphenate it? Never hyphenate it. If it's used as a noun or an adjective, it's one word. If it's used as a verb, it's 2 words. Hopefully that'll be helpful for you. And then, please help me decide which maybe to use in this sentence. He said that he maybe is one word or may be able to help us. Well, the subject is he of this clause. He may be able is your verb phrase. If it's used as a verb phrase, may be should be 2 words. If maybe is used as one word, that also means perhaps. So use a 2-word verb maybe. Don't confuse it with the adverb maybe, which means perhaps, or maybe she would call. Perhaps she will call. Here's a trick. If you can put an adverb such as really between the 2 words, write may and be as 2 words. She may be, or she may really be the one we're looking for.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of cool there. I'm totally confused by job titles today. What do I call a woman who is a fireman and so on? Okay, in the past, if a female was acting in a film, she's an actress. Now she's just an actor, That's a more neutral or inclusive title they prefer.
Oh, really?
Instead of a fireman or a firewoman, it's a firefighter. Flight, instead of steward or stewardess, flight attendant. Instead of male carriers, instead of male man, it's a male carrier. Instead of weatherman, it's a meteorologist. Instead of a policeman or policewoman, it's a police officer. Instead of newsman, it's a reporter or journalist. And on and on and on. Okay, and then two more.
Hairdresser?
Huh?
Hairdresser?
Hairdresser?
Just a,
Yeah, because that could be male or female.
Right.
Uh-huh.
No, but instead of stylist, you figure hair or dressing hair.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Either
hairdresser.
Why would it? Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. I'd use
Yeah.
that one because that's gender neutral as well.
Right, yeah.
And then I know that everyone, anyone, and someone, and somebody should be one word. Is that always true? No. If an of phrase follows, then they become two words. So if the word of follows everyone or anyone, write it as two words, every one of the suggestions. If the of phrase does not follow, everyone and anyone should be one word. And then, I am a woman who is getting married next year. Do I refer to the man as the fiance or the fiancée? Okay. Easy. Men, you only get one. Women, you get two E's. Men, one E. Women get two E's. And the way it's pronounced, he is my fiancé, or if it's a woman, she is my fiancé. The emphasis on the two
Say it
E's. Huh?
Say it again.
No. Okay. Like he is my, if I'm a female saying he is my fiancé, it's with one E. But if I'm a man and getting married to her, she is my fiancé.
That's it.
Yeah. You made me say that again. I know what you were trying to do. You're messing with me. And I guess it works that way too.
Yeah.
All righty. That concludes chapter 4. We'll look at some of those examples Thursday and Tuesday as we get ready for the review. And go online, or you can probably wait a little bit and wait till we go over some of those questions if you have issues with some of those parts, okay? Y'all have a great day.
Do we have a spelling test?
Yeah, spelling testing.
Yes, spelling test coming up. Go take that. Even if you don't do well, you can take it multiple times.
I'll take it online.
Take it online. Thank you.
So we don't have to go to